Good evening, Brian. An update on the 31,000 Stop and Shop employees that went on strike in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut last Thursday. The two sides between the Stop and Shop employees and the Stop and Shop representatives have still been unable to come to an agreement. The two sides are protesting, or the Stop and Shop employees are protesting limited benefits for retirement, overtime pay, amongst other things. Right now, Stop and Shop employees are outside of Stop and Shop protesting those that are attempting to go into the store, while also chanting and in an attempt to try to get some sort of agreement from Stop and Shop. Right now, the pharmacy does remain open, and the union has asked those outside the store to respect those that need to go in order to get their medicine. Right now, the store is practically empty, with only the self-checkout working, and the bakery and the florist remain untouched, with the food and the plants both being untouched as of right now, Brian. In terms of reporting outside Stop and Shop, Josh Silverman, News 8. Oh. Thanks, Brian. We continue to update you on the 31,000 Stop and Shop employees in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts that went on strike last week. The two sides between the Stop and Shop employees and the Stop and Shop representatives have still been unable to come to an agreement. The strike started when the two sides were unable to come to an agreement over health care and retirement benefits. That was in addition to the store limiting time and a half pay. The union and Stop and Shop representatives talked again today, but the two sides were unable to make any more progress. With Good Friday, Passover, and Easter all this weekend, Stop and Shop will be without employees servicing any customers. A typically busy weekend for the supermarket chain will result in empty stores across the three states. While the employees have been on strike, they have received a fraction of their pay. That also means that employees of Stop and Shop have been without their full pay heading into the big holiday weekend. These stores are open to Stop and Shop, but almost all their departments are empty. Nobody is at the deli, and the bakery hasn't been stocked in a week. Right now, only the self-checkout lanes remain open. The strike has affected all 92 shops in Connecticut and 240 stores in total. This is the first time in more than 30 years that Stop and Shop employees have gone on strike. Negotiations have been ongoing since February and have continued to fail. Stop and Shop pharmacies and banks have remained open to service those that still have to go get their medicine. The union has asked to respect those that have to enter the store to get their medicine from the pharmacy. Employees on strike have remained outside some Stop and Shop stores in hopes of preventing those from entering the store. They are also chanting protests outside the store. As of right now, there's no end in sight for the protests, and with the big holiday weekend upcoming, it seems as if everybody is losing. Reporting outside Stop and Shop, Josh Silverman, Q30 News.
Yeah, good evening, Brian. Good Friday, Passover, and Easter all happening this weekend, and Stop and Shops throughout New England, like this one here on Dixwell Avenue, don't have their employees. They walked off the job last Thursday, going on strike. Sticking points including pensions, healthcare premiums, and wages for these employees, who are now standing outside the stores on the picket lines, trying to prevent customers from going inside, and really just wanting equal pay and equal benefits and equal treatment from their employer. Now, for anyone who needs to get inside Stop and Shop ahead of this holiday weekend, you still can get inside. The stores are open. However, no employees inside. You can only use the self-checkout lines. Now, the banks and the pharmacies that are inside the stores are open as well, so you can get in the store to use those facilities. But again, when you check out, you do have to go through those self-checkout lines. And if you have gas points at Stop and Shop, the company releasing a statement saying that you're not going to lose your points after 30 days. You will get an extra 30 days to use them, hoping that the strike does end in that time. Now, some major sticking points, as I mentioned, those pensions, healthcare benefits, and wages, but more to that as well. This company losing reportedly $2 million per week on this strike. Here we are in day 8. That's $2 million already. The last time Stop and Shop employees went on strike, over 30 years ago, and it only lasted less than one day. And here we are, 8 days later, these employees still outside on strike. Brian, that's all we have live from Hamden tonight. I'm MJ Baird, News 8. Yeah, good evening, Brian. Good Friday, Passover, and Easter all this weekend, but 92 Stop & Shops throughout New England, like this one here on Dixwell Avenue, don't have employees in the stores. Now, business at this time of year should be bustling, but instead, limited empty parking lots and limited sales. Now, this all happening, some major sticking points rather, between the labor union and the company include proposed cuts in healthcare and retirement benefits. Stop & Shop looking to remove time and a half on Sundays, raise insurance premiums, and limit payouts on employee pensions. This contract dispute has been going on for months, neither side willing to give up in negotiations. Now, the union reps went back to Stop & Shop lawyers today ahead of the holiday weekend, but the company holding firm and willing to wait it out. This is the first time in more than 30 years that Stop & Shop employees have gone on strike, but that time lasting less than a day. Here we are, 8 days later this time around. Stop & Shop reportedly losing nearly $2 million per week with its employees on strike. Now, the way this strike works for those employees, for the first week they're on strike, they aren't paid at all. After then, they're making a small fraction of their normal wages each week. Despite losing money, many employees telling us they are in it for the long haul. Now, for anyone looking to get inside their local Stop & Shop stores this weekend, they are still open, but only the self-checkout stations are working. As for the banks and pharmacies inside, those are open as well. And for anyone who uses Stop & Shop rewards points for gas, the gas stations are closed, but Stop & Shop announcing yesterday that anyone whose points are set to expire will be granted an extra 30 days. Now, this strike not only affecting businesses for the Stop & Shop, but for local companies who sell their products in the stores as well, and even the food delivery companies missing out on a lot of money. As we gear up for the holiday weekend, it's unclear how long this strike could last. We'll bring you the latest on the negotiations as soon as it comes in. Live in Hamden tonight, I'm MJ Baird, News 8.